Hello everyone, welcome to my another video for my channel Zahid's United Report. It's been a couple of weeks since I posted my last video, and I had a great response, a grand total of 7 views and no subscribers. Hopefully that'll change after this one. But thank you everyone who watched the video I posted last time. I think it was myself that watched it a couple of times, so maybe 5 people watched it. I know you guys didn't subscribe. Please subscribe, and hopefully I'll end up creating good content regarding Manchester United and football in general in the future. I am a Manchester United fan, so mostly 90% or more than that, I would say, percentage of my videos will be regarding Manchester United. Let me just adjust this camera real quick. Let's see, this is better. There we go. Okay, well, basically my last video was more of a rant regarding Danny Mills and the stupid things that he was saying, Varane being injury prone and not performing or just performing it mainly 8 games out of the season with Real Madrid, because he thought La Liga isn't as intense as the Premier League, and you can watch that video to see how I kind of vented, because to be brutally honest, in footballing terms, that's one of the most stupid things you'll hear. Just look at Varane's record, and I proved it. He's been playing consistently for the last couple of years for Real Madrid. He's never had any injury problems, and hopefully he will not have any more or any injury problems in general when he signs for United. Anyway, it's been another eventful couple of weeks. Obviously, we never ended up playing Preston North End, so I didn't record any video, but we played Everton yesterday morning, and I did watch the match. We looked really, really good. Bruno Fernandes looked really fresh, and I'll talk about him soon in this video. Before talking about him and other players, just wanted to touch base with you guys of what I think my season preview for Manchester United looks like. Obviously, we've made 2 huge signings, Raphael, Varane and Jadon Sancho. Now, will that equal trophies? Well, a week ago, I thought we were really neck and neck, or we would really give Man City a good competition. Be as good as they are or have been in prior years because of our signings. But Man City went ahead, spent 100 million on Jack Grealish on a creative midfielder, which apparently they needed so badly, right? That's what it is. That's a top team. It hurts me to say it because they are United's rivals, and they are oil drinking mercenaries, but they are a top team. They are turning out to be a top team. They are run like a top team. They had a season last year where they won the league. They were a bit short on their Champions League aspirations, and what do? They go ahead, spend 100 million on Jack Grealish. Again, I thought if there was any department that Man City had that was for them to least likely improve, was midfield, specifically attacking midfield, because they have a lot of players. Gundogan, Ilkay Gundogan, Kevin De Bruyne, Phil Foden, that Portuguese player that they're now actually trying to sell to actually buy Harry Kane. That's another story. They signed Jack Grealish, and we've signed Jadon Sancho and Raphael Varane. But I still think just because Man City have got that much depth in their squad, we are still some ways off Man City. I think compared to last season, we are a better team. I hope that we can hold games better than we did last season. Exhibit Everton. At the end, that was a dagger of a goal that Everton scored, and we drew the game 3-3. Just looking at last season as a whole, we lost 6 games, City lost 6 games, but we had double the amount of draws that City had. So what we need to do is make those draws into wins. But from City's perspective, if you look at last season, or let's forget actually last season and think of any other season, pre-COVID, any team that would have lost 4 or 5 matches by Christmas, I would think that team would find it terribly hard to win the league. Well, I think by Christmas, City last year had lost at least 4 games. Correct me if I'm wrong. 6 in total. A team that lost 6 games in total would end up winning the league. I would have laughed because the way the league was growing and other teams are improving. I think before COVID, it has been 3 games at most that a team has lost that would have end up winning the league, and City lost 6. So where I think that we would make our draws into wins, I also think that City would make those 6 losses into 4 wins. Who knows, by the signing that they've done, because they went on that unbelievable 21 game run. I think it kind of sparked them against Chelsea. There was their game against mid-season against Chelsea, and they completely wiped the floor with them. And after that, they went on, on this incredible 21 game unbeaten run. We had our run of away games, but still, we are not as, I don't think we have improved by our 2 signings as much as City has improved by just one of their signings, and that just shows how far we're off behind them, and it's okay, it's fine. I still think United are going in the right direction. Hopefully that'll continue. Although when Raphael Varane was confirmed, I really thought that we could challenge for the title. But since then, City's got Grealish, and Chelsea, it seems like, are going to get Lukaku. Don't forget, Thomas Tuchel, when he came to Chelsea, had the best record in the league. Even then, he was missing goals from his team. What does he do? He signs Lukaku, one of the best strikers in Europe, without a doubt. Now, I think he's a much improved player than he was at United. I still wouldn't take him at United, to be honest. I don't know. I haven't used goods or whatever. Because we would need a striker after Cavani leaves next season. But I would still not take Lukaku. But he improves Chelsea without a doubt. Just don't like him enough. So Chelsea have improved. I think we are not even City. We are behind Chelsea too now. Probably equal to Liverpool or slightly better than Liverpool. So my season preview, not to be too gloomy, I would say we will be better, hopefully, than last season. A lot better. We would be able to, or should be able to, hold out games better. If you're winning by a goal, we should be able to hold those games off. Make those draws into wins. And but still, I don't think we have enough firepower in our arsenal to win the league. How would we win the league? How would we compete with Man City or Chelsea now? I will leave it at the end of the video, so stay tuned to see what I think can be our solution to challenge Man City and Chelsea. Moving on to our match against Everton. Now, the reason I want to talk about this preseason friendly is it gives us a better outlook of how our players are for the incoming season. Even though Edinson Cavani is missing, Sancho is missing, Varane is missing, Lingard with the COVID, Rashford is missing, but still, a lot of our players are back. Maguire was back, Luke Shaw was back, Bruno Fernandes was back. Paul Pogba played. I think it was Tony Martial's first game as well. I'm not sure because did he play before Preston North End? But Martial is. I'll talk about Martial as well. Tony Van de Beek played. He had a good game. So a lot of the players that I would think will be involved a lot in our first team had a chance to grab some minutes, and it ended up being a really good game. I don't know if Everton were poor. Uh, they looked poor, or I don't want to take anything away from our goals because we did have Bruno's goal was fantastic. I think Mason Greenwood's goal was a result of our good pressing. Delors' goal was good. It was a good build up. Bruno Fernandes, I talked about, a great goal, great free kick. Who else scored? Did I forget? It was Bruno, Delors, Greenwood, Harry Maguire, of course. A defender's goal. Well, obviously, I'll miss a defender's goal. But, again, scoring from a corner, really promising. Hopefully, we'll get to see that a lot more from Harry Maguire in the coming season. So, I'll start talking about Bruno Fernandes first because, well, he is my favorite player. But if you guys watched the game, you would have noticed how fresh he looked. He looked really fresh, really strong. He was performing well, great touches, great passing, and that is a direct result of him having some time off with his family on vacation. He played, I think, the most games by a player in Europe last season, if you include Euros. Not only that, this was his first vacation in 3 or 4 years. Because prior to that, he's played for Portugal for the under-23s, I think. Then there was maybe the World Cup or the European League of Nations that he was involved in. And then there was COVID, where he was just stuck at home, couldn't go anywhere, was on vacation. That wasn't really a rest. So this a couple of weeks off or 3 weeks, I don't know, that he had with his family. I'm sure you guys would have been following him on Instagram. He was posting, having fun with his wife and kids. I think he really needed that, just that time off, away from football, away from anything else, just take rest. And it showed. He was really good, looked like a brand new player when he was on the pitch. I was really happy with him. That just comes to shows how exhausted he was last season and how important it is for us to, or Oli, to make sure that he rests in the middle of the season. Right, moving on. So that's Tony, right? I have great expectations for him. I know I said, Jadon Sancho coming in, that might take some pressure off Bruno in terms of maybe Jadon might score and assist more, and Bruno might assist more and not score too much. But that's just an anticipation. I still want really badly for Bruno to hit the same numbers because Scott will need it now that Jack Grealish is at Man City. The other player that really impressed me in the game against Everton was Donny van de Beek. He looked really good, definitely much better. He had great vision during the game, crisp passing, ball control was good. And his game made sure that our midfield was fluid. So he looks better. Hopefully he'll be involved more in the first team than he was last season. He probably needed, all he knows best how he was. It's still a question mark why he didn't play enough. But hopefully that'll change this season because, one thing that United need to work on now is their squad depth. I think our first 11 looks really good, really decent, but, we can't play with our first 11 for 60, 65, 70 games. The same team can't. It's impossible. Matic looked amazing, to be honest. He held that midfield. I know he's a good player, but that's another sign that what we need right now is a young Matic. If we had a young Matic, we wouldn't be needing any other defensive midfielder. So that's one, because Matic can't play week in, week out. That's just what it is. But when he does play after a good amount of rest, he's great. He's amazing. It seems like we don't need anyone. So he looked great against Everton. Tony Martial, I shouldn't even have him on the list. I don't really rate him. Nothing against him. I just don't think he is a number 9. he's been given the opportunity. Last season was just a fluff. I mean, it was really bad. He is slowly turning out to be exactly like how Lingard was when he was at United the season before, or before going to West Ham. It was just like I could barely notice that he was playing, and when I did notice him, Martial, it was really annoying. He needs to do a lot more, a lot more than what he does right now. Not just okay, if he wasn't scoring goals and contributing in any other way, could have made sense. But he doesn't. He just doesn't. Even in this friendly game, he just didn't show enough. Maybe it just obviously back after vacation, after injury, so that plays its part. But even before last season when he wasn't injured, never looked good, and I think that's one of the reasons Cavani was such a breath of fresh air, because we were missing that striker, that movement, the constant movement here and there, left, right, up and down, and Martial doesn't have that, and Cavani has so much of that, and that's why it almost feels like he's almost a legend already. Another season of what he did last year, Luke Shaw looked great. So did Maguire. Aaron Bissaka actually had a great game. I think AWB looked the best out of the four. I think he's been training more because he never went to the England camp, wasn't selected. So I think he spent that time on improving himself, and that kind of showed. But he had like his traditional tackles that they were good. So hopefully our back four with Varane. I am hoping that might be the best defense in the league. Maguire with the goal, great header. Some might say the keeper wasn't. I think because I watched the match on MUTV and the commentator was saying that he wasn't moving enough. I feel like even if Jordan Pickford was more active than he was for that goal, it would have been still hard for him or any other keeper to save it, because it was a really good header. Maguire, if he can contribute 5 or 6 goals, important goals in the season, that'd be great. Because the reason of this expectation of a defender scoring goals is only because last season Maguire, every corner that we had, Maguire ended up heading the ball on almost all of them, and they would just miss the target. So he needs to hit the target. So that's with Maguire. Hopefully he does has a great season, continues his great form from last season with England, and now hopefully this season too. That towering figure, that moves forward, and Varane kind of backing him up. Hopefully, that's a sign of great things to come. Lindelof, he's on my list, but Lindelof did a good job for a defender covering for our main signing, Raphael. That's all I can say. Lindelof is a good defender, but we just need someone else. Lindelof and Maguire seems like similar defenders, and that's why we've been suffering. They're both slow. We need someone fast, and that's why there's not much else to say regarding Lindelof other than he's a decent player. There's one thing that I wanted to touch base with was our goalkeeper. I know I talked about our goalkeeper situation in my last video as well, but the thing is, that one corner Everton had, I think it was the first corner, and De Gea, whatever it is, completely missed the ball. I wasn't shocked, because that's not the first time that he's done that, where he's looked weak and completely missed the ball. But that just goes on to show you, that we can't, in a Premier League match where let's suppose all our title contenders have lost that weekend. We're playing last game on Sunday. you know, we're winning 1-0. We need that 3 points just to, sort of put some pressure on our rivals. The other team gets a corner last minute and De Gea loses the ball, and the other team ends up scoring a goal. That would be terrible. I mean, that would, just for the whole team, it would just bring the mood down. The following weeks, the games, incoming games, future games would just, just the aura around the team would be just bad. And I still think, more than a midfielder, we need a great. We need a great goalkeeper. The example is out there: City, Ederson, Liverpool, Alisson, Chelsea, Mendy. Look at their games before those goalkeepers and look at their games after those goalkeepers. It is surprising how apparent the differences in performances are. It's a mountainous thing to have a great goalkeeper, and United lack that. And I still think that now, I don't know if how close we are going to be with City now that they have Jack Grealish and even Chelsea now. But by December, if we are still in the hunt for the title, neck and neck with those two, our goalkeepers will let us down. That's just how I feel. I'm completely not confident with them. Yeah. So I talked about Chelsea, talked about Man City, talked about a couple of our players, some of our players, and it looks promising. Hopefully, Varane and Jadon Sancho can have some part to play in our game against Leeds. It's a difficult first game, and I want United to not lose at least first 6 or 7 games. That'd be amazing. But hopefully, if they can play a part and we can have a good result against Leeds, that'll kind of catapult us against other teams as well. But coming back to our situation with signings and all, so Chelsea seems like they're spending 100 million on Lukaku. City, it seems like I've already spent 100 million on Jack Grealish and Harry Kane situation, which is another topic I could go on and on about. But Kane, it seems like City. Kane wants to leave Tottenham. That's obvious, and United can't buy him with that much money. City seems like the only option if he wants to stay in England. Then City is literally the only club he would go to, possibly. And if he does, so City have a striker, Chelsea have a striker. Barcelona, I don't think they are strong enough to sign anyone. Real Madrid want Mbappe. So, if any of you have guessed it by now, what I'm saying is our solution to challenge City and possibly Chelsea is to sign Erling Haaland. And it seemed far-fetched before. It still is, but he's not going to Chelsea now. Doesn't seem like he would go to Man City if Kane goes there, obviously. Barcelona, no chance. Real Madrid, well, if Mbappe goes there, what then? Even Real Madrid are suffering with their cash flow issues. So, before I thought Bayern Munich and Man City were the favorites or the only two teams where Haaland would go. Now I feel like it's Bayern Munich and Manchester United. And I think United can give stiff competition just because I get the feeling that Haaland might want to leave Germany. And if he does, and England might seem like a good option for him, I think United are slowly becoming the number one option for Erling Haaland. And if United can snatch him next season, because it's obviously not happening this season. If it happens next season, I don't care who City buys. I don't care who Chelsea buys. With our current team plus Haaland, we're coming for the quadruple, I'm telling you. Anyway, thank you again, guys, for watching my video. I know this was a long one, but I did have a lot of things to talk about. If you enjoyed my video, please like, share, and subscribe. Please subscribe. thank you again to 5 viewers who watched my video last time. I hope the number is double this time around. I'll be posting again as United play more games and I have more things to talk about, because I love talking about Manchester United. The only reason I'm doing these videos or a channel is because I love football, I love Manchester United, and it just gives me happiness to talk about football. Gives me happiness to talk about football, and yeah, I think that's one topic I know more about than probably the other topics, and that's kind of embarrassing because I really don't know much about football anyway. I try. So that's it for now. Thank you again for watching my video. Subscribe, like, and share, and I'll see you until the next one. Bye.